good to go? Oh, no worries. something? Category 2, 3. Yeah. Now live. Whenever I want. All right, cool. And ideally, you'd have a motorcycle is, or even like on like where this moto is. This, as it plays out on the backside. He's a big component of doing the 5 events here in Somerville. Christmas, Santa Claus. Yeah, I mean, the other races that we do a long.
Name? Can I borrow your pen and write your name down? So I write it down.
Don't steal it.
I will not. I will give it right back. Sorry.
Okay.
First name?
Gabe.
Last name?
So
Not steal your pen. Ledger.
oh, cool.
I
Man.
just saw you out here.
Yeah, you'll get some better shots here shortly.
I've raced this.
If I could like come up here and go to my spot where one corner back left could be. Great, yeah. Okay, that's that corner.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like,
Good.
3, but like, turn.
Things to go.
Falcons. I know. But now times change. Now they're so confused.
And other people have done one road and,
This many laps left, I'm gonna go.
I was just saying, there's still another dozen laps.
Yeah. Thanks, man. You too. Is this on? All right, everybody. This is the 74th annual Tour Somerville Cycling Classic. I'm Gabe Lloyd here, bringing you some audio commentary over our live stream. Right now, we are in the final 2 laps of our men's Category 2-3 race. The men's Category 2-3 race has been very quick. We've obviously a lot of reshuffling. Everybody in this field definitely wants to make themselves known. They want to get those upgrade points to find themselves into the feature races here in Somerville maybe next year. T-Town's Justin Butsavage has done an amazing job so far. He already placed himself in today's earlier juniors race. He's now doing this 2-3 race. He has a lot of experience on the track and is coming into this race with a lot of fitness. He's positioning himself really well here this afternoon, but now we're looking at our athletes coming through. It's going to be 1 lap to go for our Category 2-3 riders. 1 lap remaining here for our Category 2-3 riders here at the 74th annual. So with 1 lap remaining in the Category 2-3 event, obviously going to be a whole lot of shuffling, a whole lot of reshuffling here as we're trying to get just a select number of riders onto our few podium places. You can see them rolling through there on our screen overlooking the festival area. The thing about a field sprint in a Category 2-3 event is that there's not a lot of teamwork, there's not a lot of cooperation within the race itself. So it's a lot of individuals sort of jockeying for position and really exemplifying what we call the washing machine effect on the back stretch. The back stretch is really where Somerville is won or lost because the road is so wide and there's a bit of a tailwind here today. So that means it's really easy to accelerate. It's easy to kick yourself up to that extra little bit of speed that you need for our finishing sprint, and then coming into turn 3 where position is crucial. The top 10 riders through turn 3 today in any one of the races, especially right here today for our Category 2-3 race, those are the top 10 riders on the finish, because with our new course this year being only 1.2 miles, the finish line is much, much closer to turn 4. That is different from in years past when the finish line used to be way, way further up Main Street. Now we're way closer, about 150 meters closer to turn 4 for the finishing stretch. That means that you're positioning into turn 3, and then of course into turn 4 is crucial. Don't forget also we've got a slight uphill and a bit of headwind into our finishing kick. That's going to make this finishing kick really, really challenging. And here's our 2-3 men coming at us right now. We are all over the road, Justin Butsavage is on the front as well. There's another rider, 248, on the right side of the road, but he is going to get absolutely absorbed. Hopefully Justin Butsavage can get himself onto the top step up there. My perspective back here from our live media stream did not give me that perspective yet. But we're going to see what, if any of our finish line people down here are able to get us a reading on who won. We've got a whole bunch of technology going here today, trying to make sure that we can give you guys the best quality we can. I'm standing on the side of the road out here right now, talking to you guys while watching the live stream that you have in front of you. We've got a couple people down at the start-finish line sending me some messages, and of course, you can also reach me on Twitter. I'm at Gabe Lloyd. If you reach out to me on Twitter today, I will do my best to incorporate that, or at least try to answer your questions throughout the day. That was the conclusion of our Category 2-3 race. We are waiting on some final finishing results. Again, a big bunch kick. We were 15 riders wide through the start finish, which is a pretty classic end result for the Category 2-3 race here at Somerville. This is one of America's longest standing bike races, the 74th year for this event, in fact. I've certainly raced this race a number of times, and it is deceptively challenging. This course has that positioning where you can have tremendous fitness and still mess up that finishing sprint, and you find yourself nowhere near the podium spot. And then you can also conversely get really lucky in the finishing sprint. As long as you have that final explosive final kick, you can do really well here despite how the rest of your day is gone. So I think what's going to end up happening here today for our feature races, for both the women and the men, it's going to come down to a lot of teamwork, a lot of team tactics, a lot of situations where we're going to need to find out which of these teams are going to try to control the field. Let's look at the women's race as they're actually rolling themselves onto the course right now for their initial call-ups. The women's race today is going to be really, really dominated by teams. Teams today are going to be critical, especially for the legendary Laura Van Gilder. She's riding for Mellow Mushrooms Pizza Cycling. Mellow Mushrooms, they brought 6 riders here today to try to get Laura Van Gilder another win. She has won this race 3 times. Her first win was in 1999 when she was riding for the Navigators team. In 2002, she won again, and her most recent win was in 2005. That would give us 12 years since Van Gilder's last win here, but this is a great year for her to do so. She's showing really good form, especially this weekend. She won at the Bownbrook race.
Eric here from Bridgewater Nissan. There's a ton of reasons to purchase from us, like a no-nonsense sales process with price and payments in minutes, not hours. Your time is valuable, so we offer you the best price up front. And this month, we're giving the house away. For example, lease a new 2017 Maxima S for an affordable $189 a month for 36 months. Or lease a new 7-passenger 2017 Pathfinder S just $199 a month with no down payment. Think savings? Think Bridgewater Nissan. Visit us online at bridgewaternissan.com.
and supporting this classic bike race here. So a little bit about Ellen Waters. A little bit about Ellen Waters here. Last year, she did win this event. She was a rising star on the Canadian cycling team. In 2016, she had a dramatic breakaway victory here at Somerville, and she added this American classic to her impressive resume of 20. a very interesting sort of breakaway situation in if they actually do stay away. All right. Apologize for that. Technical difficulties. So that is number 15, Kinley Gibson. She was off the front there with the Cyclery 4i. She's got that red jersey on, but the Pickle Juice Pro Cycling riders do not want that to stay away. That means that Colleen Gulick was going after that rider very intently, probably with the intention of bringing her field all back together. Again, we do think that Pickle Juice Pro Cycling is in a position where they only want to see a field sprint situation occur, and they do not want to see a breakaway occur, mainly because they can't control the breakaway, right? So like if they get a good rider into the breakaway, that's good, but you're gambling, right? Because you're not necessarily getting a lot of teamwork and you're not guaranteed a victory out of a breakaway situation at Somerville because of the amount of work that it takes. The reason that Ellen Waters last year was able to take advantage of the breakaway situations because she actually did win solo. She went by herself. She didn't have anybody else to contend with. So then her teammates in the field just shut down any of the chasing efforts, guaranteeing Ellen the win. Here today, you're going to see a lot of athletes not being comfortable with letting anything really get away. Once again, we're seeing our laps tick over really quickly. Cyclery 4i on the front there. I see that orange jersey of Monica Volk riding for Rally Cycling in there. Monica Volk is a former collegiate national champion. Really nice to have her out here with us today. I saw that she raced in Winston-Salem on Saturday, so she's got a bit of car time in her legs as well. But Monica is now becoming a seasoned veteran of bike racing, so it's cool to see her continuing to be used to that. So we're getting some messages in here. Looks like that last lap was actually a preem lap. So that last lap, number 16 took the preem. That was Mim Gilbert of CRCA Dave Jordan Racing. So Mim Gilbert took that preem on that last lap. A few people asked me if the screen can be bigger and asked about the audio quality. I will pass that along to our technical people here to see if we can get a better audio quality for you guys. So we're calling a couple preems as we go. That's pretty standard for a bike race of this nature. Preem, of course, is a race within the race. The rider who crosses the line first will be awarded a cash prize here in Somerville. So that brings out a whole nother bike racing tactic of Tour of Somerville and criteriums in general. A lot of athletes will come out knowing they can't win, but thinking that they can pick up some cash for a preem. So that can be a reason why some athletes will go after these early separations and these early moves, knowing that the breakaway situation traditionally at Somerville does not succeed, but that they know that a preem or two will be called and that they can take advantage of those opportunities, sprint for those cash prizes throughout the middle of the race, sometimes taking home more money than what the actual victory here may be. Today's prize purse is very good for our women's field. It is $10,000 cash split among the top 25 riders. So it's a really good day for these women here. Again, the victory at Somerville is really what everybody is looking for. Pack is all back together right now. Cyclery 4i really patrolling the front. Now we're starting to see some of the Mellow Mushroom women also taking control on the front. So the local Team EPS CSS presented by Shellbell and Shellbell are trying to animate this race a little bit. They want the pace to be a little bit higher. You can tell that the pace is not extremely high right now because the width of the field. The fact that we've got the whole field strung all the way wide and as wide as the road, that means that the pace is not high. When the pace isn't high, that doesn't actually suit our sprinters. Our sprinters really do prefer a faster race. It tires out the legs of everybody else around them. A sprinter's quality, especially an explosive sprinter, really does prefer everybody else's legs get just sort of ground down slowly, 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 because these explosive sprinters have that extra little bit in their legs where they can really kick those massive watts out at the end of the sprint that the other riders simply cannot do physically. So they really do want their team to try to contribute to the pace setting and try to make sure that they can keep the pace high to benefit their explosive sprints. We'll talk a little bit later about the tactics of some of the pro men in their sprinting capabilities because we are bringing out some legendary sprinters to today's race. For our pro men, including legendary Adam Meyerson and Jake Keogh, making a return to cycling after a few years off due to some medical conditions. But right now, for our women's feature event, we are looking for basically the strongest team at this point. You know, we're looking for these 4 major teams to really take some responsibility on this race and keep the pace high so that it benefits their sprinters. The 4 teams that we've outlined here this afternoon: the Mellow Mushroom Pizza Cycling team, led by Laura Van Gilder. She's brought with her a number of really talented athletes. Cassandra Maximenko is one of those. Dr. Max is a very good rider. She wins a lot of bike races herself, but here today she is totally committed to the field sprint. Can you get him? I'm being told it's not being broadcast. So here's our field, the front of our field right now. So right now we're seeing the field really still back together. All right, sorry about that. So we're getting a lot of messages in from the Twitter sphere and from other people around here saying that asking us some questions about the live stream. So we are going to work on some of those technical aspects. If you can still hear me, that's awesome. I am still here. My name is Gabe Lloyd. You can find me on Twitter at Gabe Lloyd. You can ask me some questions. I'll do my best to answer them and make sure that you understand what's happening here today at the 74th annual Tour of Somerville. Cool. So it sounds like our full screen options are working and that you can hear me. Nice to hear from some old friends now that I'm doing some live stream work. All right, so off the front right now, number 42 is putting down some effort. That's Team Ear Race presented by DSO Manufacturing rider Laura Summers. So these again are going to be individual riders looking for a race situation where they can benefit from being away themselves, right? So these individual riders know that there's a lot of teams out here today trying to take control of the event and trying to make sure that it does come down to a field sprint. So now you're going to see individual riders looking for a breakaway situation. So as we see individual riders, now it puts a little bit more pressure on the teams to actually make sure that the race will stay together, because you can let 1 or 2 or 3 riders start to go, but as soon as you start to see like 5, 6, 7, or even 8 riders, even if they are all on different teams, once you get that many riders away from the field, it becomes infinitely more difficult to bring them back and to control that field. So you're going to see these teams continue to shut down any of these early efforts, which is really too bad for a lot of these individual riders who are just here simply to try to scoop up some preems and put some cash in their pocket earlier in the day. Pace is definitely picking up. We're seeing a lot of jockeying for position off the front. Rider number 34 right now, as it come by me right now, that's Danielle Mooreshead, again of Team E-Race. So Team E-Race, okay, that's awesome. So now we got another team here trying to make the pace hard. I can hear the preem bell down there. It sounds like a $20 preem is now up for grabs for these pro women. So these little tokens, these little nuggets, sort of start to keep the race high, keeps the momentum high. That's good. That's actually beneficial for our explosive sprinters at the end of the race, because it means that their teams have to do less work. This preem is, in fact, in memory of Ellen Waters. Really cool to have a preem in honor of Ellen Waters. I've got some additional help here from my friend Kyle Wolf. He is letting me know that Danielle won Bear Mountain this year. So Danielle, clearly a strong rider. She's very capable. So that's really interesting to see. That means that we're seeing some long power riders start to make themselves known. Again, if you start to get some of these long power riders away by themselves, that can be very dangerous for the explosive sprinters at the end. We're still not seeing enough sort of cooperation off the front, even from a lot of these really strong individual riders. So we're still looking at a field sprint situation, despite the fact that these really strong individuals are coming to the front, probably scooping up the $20 preems that are now available for them, as we are looking at, again, this $20 Ellen Waters preem for the 74th annual Tour of Somerville Cycling Classic. I'm Gabe Lloyd. You can find me on Twitter at Gabe Lloyd. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll do my best to make sure that we can get your questions answered. Thank you so much for tuning in here today. You are watching the professional women's field race, the 74th annual Tour of Somerville Cycling Classic. We've got a lot of really strong women here right now. I'm being handed technology, seeing if I can do things for me. All right. So rider number 17 right now, that is Sarah Giovannetti of the Cyclery 4i, with pretty sizable gap here. Arlie Kemmerer, number 22 for Fearless Femme, is actually leading the field, but she's looking over her shoulder as she passed me. That means that the Canadian, who was teammates with Ellen Waters last year, will in fact take that $20 preem, Sarah Giovannetti of the Cyclery 4i. Really cool to see the passion of those Canadian riders here today. They definitely want to get that win for Ellen, and it's really cool that they are here today really riding with some force and some purpose. So again, now that we have a single rider off the front, we'll see if Sarah wants to continue that effort or not. Again, as I've said many times here this afternoon, a single rider off the front of Tour of Somerville rarely has that chance. Last year, Ellen Waters, she was the exception to the rule. We should not consider Ellen's victory last year to be something that would be a normal situation here at the Tour of Somerville. So right now we've got our field is really back together. They are cruising. See if I can find another camera angle here to provide you guys. we're doing everything we can here today. We were given a couple cameras here to try to get you guys some eyeballs on the situation, and of course this audio feed that I've got with you right now, just so that you could join us here today for the Tour of Somerville Cycling Classic if you could not join us here today. We had a little bit of rain earlier this morning that subsided. It's actually amazing weather here. I've raced here in years past where I thought my face was going to melt off because it was so hot. And did seriously get those heat chills, which is pretty much the end of your day here. Preem opportunities as well, so that they can find themselves.
Taking a selfie with Gabe Lloyd.
So right now, I'm trying to refresh our live stream feed, make sure that everybody can see and hear me. Yeah, we did come offline there for a little bit. It sounds like we're back online. Make sure that we're still online. So we're doing everything we can here right now. We're working with some Wi-Fi. We're working with some lines. Cool. So we're back online. Thanks for joining us here.